right, what is action research? So according to Johnson & Johnson, it's a collective, self-reflective, collaborative inquiry by participants seeking self-advocacy and justice for teachers and social and educational practices. Right off in the article, it talks about marginalized groups, marginalized professions, and it includes teachers as being part of that, which I really appreciated because it's so true. And because of that, it really proposed an epistemic solidarity, which means a collective group action between researchers, education, and doing an in-depth investigation of the power imbalances in policy processes. One thing I've been learning more than anything in my master's program is the ability to challenge power imbalances and to make sure to get informed, to get involved, so that we can really understand how to self-advocate and really actually change policy. Action research is not about changing educational practices, but changing the culture of the collective organization. So that's page 172, Johnson & Johnson. Action research, it's collaborative, participatory. It's not done on other people. It's self-critical, reflective. I liked how it shared about the teacher is the investigator and explorer of their specific content area. We're not looking to see our teaching as like problematic or, critical to the point where like we're always wrong, but really looking at specific things to tweak and always moving towards direction of best practice. I liked how in the article it gave like 3 different examples of education language policy engagement research, LPR. One was by Rebecca Freeman, and she was about building on community of bilingualism. And her whole kind of idea in her studies is that in order to get the most success, then you need to incorporate multilingualism in schools and viewing language as a resource. And what she has found in all of her years' experience is that educational language policy is more successful when it incorporates the needs and the wishes of the community. That directly ties into the article on Flores and Chaparro. I was drawn to it because when you were giving your video and kind of describing about the charter schools and the racism showed and the preferential treatment to the gentrified white school and then the 5 that were Latino. So kind of the whole idea is that, charter schools are like immensely increasing, expansive. So they wanted to expand from 1 to 6 dual language programs in Philadelphia. The 1 was the higher economic status, kind of that white socioeconomic population. They had the media exposure, the platforms, the superintendent, and the other 5 were very marginalized, lower income. So I like how this article, though, it attempts to answer what counts as language policy or educational policy and what counts as language activism. So when it says they advocate for a materialist anti-racist approach to language activism, what they're talking about is that bigger picture of not just like language policy and having these dual programs, but actually affecting the community in like more monetary investments and really like going in and shifting and making sure that there's fair wage, that there is fair housing, that these marginalized groups there's more equity in the community as a whole. One quote I really liked at the end of Flores and Chaparro on page 381 that really like hit me. Minoritized languages will always be devalued in school so long as the speakers of the languages are devalued members of society. It kind of shared about how when the Puerto Ricans kind of migrated over during World War II, they were told and promised all these jobs at factories, and then they were basically forced into the ghetto, and that socioeconomic domino has, been just one generation after another. So it's really about empowering the minority community and doing ethnographic monitoring with researchers and educators to improve language education of minoritized students.